Hello and welcome back to another week at Tax Savers University. It is Marketing Monday once again, and we've been doing it for a few weeks now, so if you're not sure what that is, go back and look at a few more episodes, but it's Marketing Monday, so welcome Andy, Mr. Brand Director.
Brand Director.
How's it going?
Good.
Good.
Feeling good.
All right, so brief recap. So Marketing Monday, we're here to talk about what we're doing in the areas of building our firm and just kind of strategies we're looking at, what's working, what's not. So let's dive into it. What do we got going on? I think we got some good things to talk about this week.
Yeah, so the first thing is that we're holding off on paid shoutouts for a little bit, trying some other strategies there. So it'll be fun to see how that works out and how
if the growth stalls or continues rocking.
Yeah, and because I feel like a lot of our growth recently has already been like organic anyways. So I don't think there'll be too much of a shift. If anything, the people that do follow us will just be more engaged with our content.
Yeah.
We'll be able to go deeper that way.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the first thing that we have. We're also taking a break from the 5 for 5 giveaway for a little bit after today.
Yeah.
And I think with that as well, we'll also continue having the same engagement just because there's been some good conversations starting.
Yeah.
You get like 2 or 3 that just do the hashtag TaxSaver, which is great. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
But below that, we're having people just legit engaging with the content, starting conversations.
So mix it up, just not having it run, always just take it away, bring it back, play with that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. It's been good though. The 5 for 5. It's been. I mean, if you look at our, I think average number of comments from when we started it a couple weeks ago to now, the comments are way up, through the roof, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So
that was definitely like a good move and something that was kind of just as we learned as we went along with that one, for sure.
Yeah. So, and the fulfillment I think has been improved on getting people there.
Yeah, it was. I think it was. I'm not sure what happened.
Spam messages or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably just going to like different folders or something. But once those first gift cards went out, after that it's been pretty
smooth. Yeah. Good. Cool. So you've got some kind of more looking at trying to step back and do a little more high level thinking you were mentioning to me. So let's break that down a little bit.
It all started with a post that I saw about how when you're working like in a creative field, taking 2 hours a week to step back and really just brainstorm and think creatively is actually like helping with productivity within that field. So I thought I've been wanting to step back for a little while now, just instead of being so like in the turn of just like pushing content and kind of going that way.
So we're
like actually thinking.
It's like the book, The E-Myth, working. There's working in the business and on the business.
Yeah.
It's kind of like working in the brand versus on the brand.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, my perspective with anything social media has always been like, don't think, just put it out. And now it's like, okay, it's been like months now where you're kind of just in that process now, like step back, see the content, see what's working, why it's working, or even just like when we talk like third-party analytics, like just as a marketing role, I should be like educated on that. So taking those 2 hours and looking into like analytics, seeing how everything's going, like knowing the followers, maybe even just like going through comments as well and seeing like, okay, what are the names like that are like who's coming
up regularly,
and then I should know their names and like kind of just really just be aware of what's going on in that space. So I think that would be super beneficial. And I did that yesterday, and I do feel like I have a better understanding of just most of your Instagram right now, and then also just taking a step back and thinking of questions for the podcast or different strategies, or even just like, I know we talked about changing the flow of pushing the podcast out, just taking a step back and actually putting like a structure to it. Yeah. So far I found it to be pretty beneficial.
Cool. So. And speaking of, you mentioned for months now, you said, but it's been officially a year since we've been rocking and rolling together, so that's cool. Yeah. It was a few days ago. So.
Yeah. So I actually posted. You saw there's 2 posts I think that I reposted from the first day.
Yeah, from the very first day.
Yeah, it's kind of
cool. It's kind of fun to see. Yeah, where it started. So there's the pre started, and then like kind of going from when we got the real camera and the real audio, and then seeing And I've had people even tell me that they've seen my abilities on the camera get better
Yeah.
just from having us regularly record, and so it's fun seeing a year later where we're at
Yeah.
versus
Definitely.
those first couple of
Do you feel like
videos.
it flows better when you're like on camera? Like I know you're pretty used to being on camera, but just as far as like I've heard that when people start vlogging, like the first one, they kind of
Yeah,
they're used to it.
it's funny. I
Just-
didn't really feel like it was that much of a difference in my own like comfort level in front of the camera,
Uh-huh.
but I guess multiple people have made that comment.
Yeah.
But even they've been making that comment for the last 6 months or so. So I think it's probably just it's that practice of before I would do it inconsistently,
Uh-huh.
where now it's more consistent, and so that naturally you get better at it.
Got it.
So there's you get more, you get the ums out. They're not happening as often, or some stuff like that just naturally happens by doing it over and over. Just like if you're shooting free throws 100 times a day versus 100 every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
you're just naturally going to be
Yeah.
it's just muscle memory.
And
So
does it feel like just from my end, I've felt this like when we first started, it felt not so much second nature to have these podcast like these recording sessions and then like having like the content push. Like now it
Mhm.
feels like it's part of like the flow of
right, the schedule. It's just part of the schedule. Okay,
Yeah.
let's film some content.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So cool. So yes, back to the content here. So you were talking about the podcast and kind of updating that. So let's kind of dive into that.
Yeah.
Since we're on the podcast, let's get super meta here.
Yeah.
Talk about the
definitely.
podcast on the podcast.
So it's super exciting to have. Well, today actually, you mentioned it to me that you already have a few interviews scheduled with some business owners. So that'll
Yeah.
be exciting to kind of get that rolling.
Yeah.
And really just see the conversations that build from that.
Mm-hmm. And it'll almost be a real podcast now. It's like
Yeah.
or a traditional. I guess it's a real podcast. It's just more of a traditional like interview style podcast.
Yeah.
Still going to keep the original, the tax tips and all that going, but try to have once a week bring on a successful business owner guest
Yeah.
across different stages and different industries. People just starting out, people who've been in business for a while, people who've built super successful businesses,
Mhm.
and kind of hopefully bring even more value.
Yeah, I think they will. Since a lot of the tax advice is tailored towards business owners, now
Mhm.
have another aspect where there's business owners that have been in business now for years, so
Mhm.
they have some things that they've learned along the way that
Yeah.
will bring a lot of value. So
For sure.
that'd be cool.
How about the scheduling? What are we going to do with that?
Yeah, so the scheduling, I know we mentioned in the previous podcast, I think I even remember saying that we're going to keep it daily. Well, that might shift to 3 times a week.
Mhm.
And the reason being is that we're going to have Marketing Monday on Monday,
Mhm.
and then Wednesday have it be a tax tip episode, but longer than usual, where you go through, and we recorded it before this, where you record 5 tax tips
Mhm.
and roll through that way, but
Mhm.
there's a break in between where people know what they're listening to next.
Mhm.
So I'm curious to see if maybe that's a little more valuable
Mhm.
instead of having it roll through multiple different episodes.
So yeah, you just get multiple tips on one episode rather than maybe listening to once a week, going and listening to 5 episodes at a time.
Yeah, exactly. And like having that break, I think will help too. It won't be one long episode where you'll know where each topic is.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know exactly where to scrub through, and then in the description we'll also put timestamps as far as how to write off your meals.
Mhm.
1 minute and 15 seconds is where it
Yeah,
starts. And
yeah.
kind of doing it that way
Mhm.
to help the audience. And then Friday would be the upload for the business
interview,
owner
yeah.
interview. So
We don't have a cool acronym with alliteration on that yet, so we'll have to
Yeah.
come up with some sort of Fantastic Business Friday or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't like that yet, but we'll see. We'll come up with something clever for you. Sweet. All right. What else? What else we got going on?
let's see here.
Measure Results brand.
Yeah.
Looks like.
So
So as we're building out the McBroom Media side of things, we've had my personal brand as a case study,
yeah.
but but now
Kinda
also
shifting it over to
building up
firms.
Measure Results and then other clients that we get through the McBrew Media side.
Yeah. So I think what's been fun about that is I know we kind of dabbled a little bit in having the Measure Results Instagram being built out. But as we've gone through this process of building your following on Instagram, I think I have a better understanding of how to build out the Measure Results one. And we're going not as deep as we are with your brand just because of manpower, but we're doing the once a day, Monday through Friday, and really just making that account have its own voice too. It's still tailored, you can still see the resemblance, but have it just be a certain style.
Less of a personality
Yeah.
person, but more of like it's coming from a company.
Yeah, exactly. So we still have tax advice. I'm trying to find different ways to make it engaging where they're still getting the same information, but in a different way, maybe a little more engaging, or just trying to do something different with it. And then also trying to highlight things about the company and what's going on with us. Tied into that, we're also starting to upload again to Facebook, and that was kind of a decision we came up with this week.
Yeah.
And but it's already again, kind of as we've put in a lot of legwork over the year, now it's having a better understanding of how to go about pushing that content.
Well, and let's stay on the Facebook thing because I wanted to make sure we talked about that. So we were just kind of having a conversation internally in the company about, hey, if we posted to Facebook in a while, and we hadn't, and the reason why is because we decided to go deep instead of wide, so go super deep into Instagram podcast. But then we realized, we built up over the last couple of years a decent following, not a 10,000, 11,000 person following, but 800 or 900 followers over there that we hadn't shared content with in a while. And so then we just shared a couple posts, and apparently they'd missed us because it got some really good engagement, and then ended up getting a few leads and probably what's going to happen, at least one or two clients from just those couple posts that we shared and hadn't shared in a couple months. And so it is interesting seeing, you never know where your prospects are going to be consuming the information. So
maybe just one piece of content, because I believe one of them came from literally an iPhone photo that snapped of our
the new logo on the door,
crazy.
in the office,
okay,
and
then,
people were excited.
So it's interesting. Never surprised. Always surprised.
Exactly.
What content hits and which one ones don't.
So,
so implementing that, getting that rolling, but it's definitely now a lot easier to kind of push the content now that there's kind of a structure behind it, a cadence basically. So they're just just add another one when there's this time slot. So usually in the mornings is kind of the creative, get all the content made, and then schedule it out until noon. So.
And then high level thinking in the afternoon. When your brain's fried. That's when the real magic happens, the fried brain state of mind.
Really creative.
Exactly. I always felt that way though when I was when I was writing my we mentioned the kids novel in 2 episodes in a row here now, but when I was writing my young adult book years back, I always found that my most creative times were in hours of like 6 to 8 a.m. and then after 8 p.m. at night. So or after 9 p.m. at night, kind of the edges of the day. When you're kind of waking up or kind of ready for bed, is when your brain's not fully working. Is when the creative part, because those over analytical parts shut down a little bit, and so there's less inhibitions. Maybe a couple beers will do it too. Exactly. That's why writers have a couple glasses of wine before they start writing. Then the editing is done sober.
Oh, maybe take that one out.
Okay. What else? What else we got going on?
So I guess along with taking the 2 hours back, and we've mentioned this with just other projects that we have going on, like what would be the next role that we hire on. And I think just as a creative, just kind of stepping back and being unemotional about my skill sets, and really looking at what's the next role that we would need that would make us more efficient, and kind of just being what do I struggle with? What am I not?
Where can we maximize your skill sets and maybe parts that aren't, could be, or just to take more time and can leverage out. It's the
Yeah.
same thing when you're running a business. It's like, okay, what am I really good at? What am I not so good at? What am I fine at? And let's figure out how we can round it out, and then also just from a leverage of time and resources standpoint.
Yeah,
And figuring
exactly. And realizing that the overall mission of the department and the firm is greater than maybe what you would like to be good at, and kind of just taking a step back. So that's been an interesting take, just from like, I guess as I'm learning coming into my career, like still being pretty fresh in it, like actually being like, okay, like what am I really good at? What would I like to know about? But if we brought this person on, we can really go even deeper, and what impact can we have? Having somebody that's
well, and that came about from getting a couple clients on the McBrew Media side and realizing that at some point you're not going to be able to do it all on the creative side. So we're going to have to bring on somebody to help with that. So what is that? Where should we do that? What's the angle that we could round it out with? And so it's good problems to have.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I think it's something that you also learn, because I know there's a lot of younger people, or even older people, that are being hired onto positions similar to what I'm in right now. And a benefit of kind of doing it all is that you see every aspect that goes into putting in growing the following or building a brand, and then you really get to see like, oh man, like this part really sucks, like this sucks, like I struggle with this, or like this part's really easy, I'm able to knock that out super fast. And I was like, oh, and then you find yourself like when you're kind of feeling a little bit overwhelmed, like, oh, I wish I had this person, and it kind of just know, like, why do I feel that way? It's like, oh, I'm not as strong at that.
Or things you thought you'd enjoy, and then you get into doing it day to day.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this isn't as cool as I thought it was going to be.
Exactly. Like every day.
Like, oh, I like doing this like for a project once a semester for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But day in, day out, this is like, So cool. Sweet. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up our Marketing Monday?
There's one more thing.
1st of October, first Marketing Monday of October, I think it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful fall weather.
Oh, yeah.
Right now.
I was
Fourth quarter.
I was thinking about monthly goals. I had somebody.
Well, we're starting the quarter.
So we do it a month later.
Well, so our quarter is a little different for those of you out there because of with tax season, the way that it works is we don't want to stop and reassess for a new quarter on April 1st, and so we shift our quarter back a month. So we're still in the middle of our quarter, but calendar quarter, most people are thinking Q4 is kicking off right now, rocking and rolling to close out the year.
Yeah.
So
I think just like a closing thought, I guess, based on like our conversation in this podcast, was just we had a client want to hire somebody on board like similar again to my position, and just something that I was kind of like reflecting on as far as just how the relationship goes and the growing process of it. Like I think both people end up kind of like it's to learn as you go. You both have your skill, like obviously like somebody's the business owner or whatever they do, that they want that brand built, and then from the person coming in and creating the content or running it, it's you have your skill sets, but you're also like learning what you thought worked one month ends up not working the next month. And you kind of like how we shifted from the vlog to doing more Instagram, doing more taxi, like wasn't more efficient. And I think kind of like a big thing from like the creative standpoint is just to like remove yourself from trying to make everything perfect and just rolling with it. And I think just because I know with that one scenario, like the person's really talented in creating, but on the other end, that person's also flexible with them learning and growing. And I think having that understanding and just having the work ethic to build it ends up rolling. Because I think a lot of people don't do it just because it's like it's never a perfect fit, just because this space is still pretty fresh as far as like hiring people to come on board to build your brand. Build, like,
I mean, just when I was in school, which wasn't that long ago, these weren't jobs that existed. Like
so it's like a learning process on both ends. As far as the whole process.
Yeah, and it's all about building the plane while you're flying it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's about it.
Cool. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that newest, freshest, kicking off Q4 edition of Marketing Monday. And we'll see you on the tax tips and the rest of the week, and then back again Monday for more marketing talk. So as always, if you found some value, please share it with someone or give us a review. It would mean the world to us. It already means the world to us that you're following and listening to this right now and made it all the way to the end of the episode. And thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
I'm walking down that road. Where did all the flowers go? They say we're supposed to grow, learning from the highs and lows.